Hey there, it's Anders from transformingadhd.com. Recently I was working with a dad who had a difficult time getting his kids, two sons with ADHD diagnosis, to do what he wanted them to do. And I thought that might be a problem for you or somebody you know as well. So what he explained to me was that he couldn't get his kids to stop eating with their mouths open and eating loudly, but he could get them to take out their food. And instantly, I had an idea about what was going on when he said that. Now, if you're familiar with expressions like, and you can try this with yourself, close your eyes and try not to imagine a pink elephant. And once you're not imagining that pink elephant, do not imagine a monkey sitting on top of it, waving to you. And with more than 90% probability, you just imagined a pink elephant with a monkey on its back waving at you. You may have experienced a blue elephant or some other color. Then if you did, write that in the comments below. Now, that's not the point. The point is that even when I say this, for your mind to understand what it shouldn't do, it has to actually imagine it. And that's what you do when you imagine the pink elephant. Some minds will then rapidly create a blue elephant or a pink some other animal. Doesn't matter. Your mind still had to produce the elephant or something close by in order to understand the negation. And we call it a negation because it's when we say something that shouldn't be done, that you can't do, that's wrong, or whatever it is. So you know the expression. If you go to if you tell a kid to stay away from don't go towards the edge, the kid will go towards the edge. And the more dangerous it is, the louder you'll become. But what happened was that you planted go to the edge when you said don't go to the edge. So for the kid to realize what that means, the kid actually has to make that happen in his mind. And when you're a kid and it's happening in your mind, it's happening in the real world. So basically, you made the kid go to the edge. So what we want to do is communicate more precisely. And let's get back to the statement that the dad had. He said he couldn't get the kids to stop doing one thing, but he could get them to do another thing. Now, that reminded me of negations and what I call positions. They're not positions like we normally know them. There's actually no language term for the opposite of a negation, like a non-negation, but that would kind of defeat the purpose. So he was saying, don't eat with your mouths open. Don't make those smacking sounds. Stop being loud when you eat and stuff like that. And they would be eating with their mouths open. They would produce any and every smacking sound they could figure out how to do, and they would definitely be loud about it. After the meal, he'd ask them to do something specific, which was to take out their plates, and they would just take out their plates. So looking at it this way, the kids were actually fine. They were just doing what they were told and what they were asked to do. He would ask them to produce smacking sounds and eat loudly, and he would ask them to take their plates out. And they would do all of these things. So what we talked about was, how do you turn the negation into a position or something that you would like them to do? Now, what is the opposite of, or what is it you're actually asking them to do when you say a negation like that? In his case, he said, in this family, we eat with our mouths closed and we eat in silence. The sounds we produce are language. And then he would continue to ask them to take out their plates. And when he came back 2 weeks later, he said it was like a transformation of the kids. that they would have just started doing what he asked them to do. Now, this is of course not standard. You can't get every kid in the world to do what you ask them to do just by changing from a position, from a negation to a position. But you can definitely get some small and maybe even some larger wins by going this route. I promise you. So, what I would suggest you do now is go home and look at your set of rules or values in the family. If they are, don't shout, don't fight, don't this, don't that, and never even whatever, then rewrite them and figure out what is it that you want them to do instead of fighting. You want them to be good friends. What is it that you want them to do instead of yelling? You want them to talk. And so on and so on and so on. And go through everything. Every time you hear a negation come out of your mouth, follow it up a couple of seconds later with what you want them to do. Now this puts a lot more effort on your part because you actually have to do that. But imagine the effort that you have to do this. Kids cannot do this. They cannot produce a position from a negation unless you help them out. It's scientifically proven that up until around the year 12, the kids simply do not make that connection to what it is that they should be doing instead. You need to help them out, and this is how you do it. More work for you, but I promise you, less conflicts, less confrontations over it. Now, if you like this, if you want more advice like this, head over to transformingadhd.com. Read the articles, there are a couple of freebies over there, and even sign up for the newsletter, and I'll send you a lot of goodies, and we'll talk more there. Also, subscribe to the channel below, and I'll see you soon.